Welcome to a noble society of young urban entrepreneurs sharing knowledge and building wealth. Welcome to the League of Hustlers.
The hustle is in your bones. It runs through your veins. It's that ambition to do more, become more. You can feel it. You know you have what it takes. You know you can build a life you've been dreaming of. It's time you live up to your potential. Welcome to the League of Hustlers.
Welcome back to the League of Hustlers.
Yes, sir.
Welcome
yes, sir.
back. Yes, glad to have you back. I'm your co-host, CD Barnes.
And I'm HT.
And we are the League of Hustlers.
Indeed.
Got another great episode for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between assets and liabilities.
Yes.
A lot of confusion there sometimes. It's just a big topic that you have to understand if you're going to be financially successful.
Very
All right.
important.
So 3 key points we're going to hit. We're going to go over the definition, what it exactly means, in each avenue, the differences. We're going to go over some examples, some of the misconceptions, and then we're going to give you some strategic implementation, things that we can do to kind of make sure we're building assets and limiting those liabilities, at least where we expect to. All right?
Right.
What you got for him, H? Give him that definition, man. What is an asset? What is a liability?
Yeah, so simply put, all right, an asset is anything, okay, that causes cash to flow into your pocket, into your bank account, okay? A liability is anything which makes cash flow out of your pocket or out of your bank account, okay? Just to break it down simple. I know some places have technical definitions and they say, well, stocks can be considered and, the cash equivalent of this and the treasury bonds and blah, blah, blah. No, look at it like this. Assets cause money to flow into your pocket. Liabilities cause cash to flow out of your pocket. All right. So
Simple.
That's the key thing that we want to, use as a baseline for this whole discussion. Okay. Think of that. Assets, money's coming in. Liabilities, money's flowing out. All right. So use that. Okay. Write it down. Cash flow, cash flow coming in for assets, cash flow going out for liabilities. Write it down. Okay. You can even pause the video right now and hit the subscribe button if you want to, and hit the notification bell while you're there, and write it down in between time. All right. But yeah, so that's the definition, right? What about the examples? Give them some examples of this.
All right, so examples. All right, so the first one that comes to mind is the house.
Yeah.
Right? So your house is technically a liability. A lot of people just right off the bat assume that because they have a house, they think it's an asset.
Nope.
Your home, if you live in your home, all right, and you're not making money, you're not profiting off your home every month, every year, I'm sorry, it's a liability, okay? If you're paying your mortgage, you're paying the insurance, you're paying taxes,
Ching-ching.
You're paying, all the bills that go along with the maintenance. The roof caves in, you got to pay for it, all right? Somebody busts a hole in the wall, but kids in the neighborhood bust a window. You got to pay. This is a liability. Money is flowing out.
You gotta paint, right?
You gotta paint.
You gotta cut the grass. You have to keep it's like you're constantly paying out money. So cash flowing out is a liability.
Bing. Liability. A home can actually turn into a huge liability.
Huge.
All right. Now, on the flip side, a home can also be an asset. And this is what you have to understand. All right. Things can be assets and liabilities. It depends on how you're using them. Okay.
Exactly.
So your home can also be an asset. You can have property. You can have a home. You can be renting them out. You could be, doing an Airbnb, leasing, whatever it is that you do. where you're actually making money off of this home. And now it's an asset.
Why?
That's money coming in. Just
Bingo.
like that. Money coming in, asset mode. Okay? So, with that being said, it kind of brings up the next point of the conversation.
Well, hold on before we go.
Mm-hmm.
If I can give a personal example, all right?
Personal examples. What you got?
About an asset turning into a liability. One CD and I, we were roommates right after college. All right. And so it was a starter home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. All right. And at that point, it was an asset. Okay. It was an asset. It was used as rental income. Okay. I moved someone in. At one point, I moved three students in. It wasn't too far from the university. I moved 3 students in and I rented each room out. Okay, boom, asset, money coming in. Right? Cool. Moved another 3 students in the next year. Boom, asset, money coming in. All right, school year gone, they go home. I moved a new tenant in. Worst thing ever. Tenant destroyed the home, broke the dishwasher, broke the AC unit. Like, it was a lot, bro. Like, had like trash and all. Just it was one of those renter horror stories, right?
Right.
At that point, it turned into a liability. Why? Because money was flowing out. I had to fix stuff constantly having to kick money out. So at that point, it turned into a liability. So we have to be careful. We just think like, oh, I got a house, I got an asset. Actually, no. Actually, you're paying for that house. Most residential houses that you stay in is actually a liability. You don't actually cash out until you sell the house. And the issue is that some people keep the house until they pass away. So it never becomes an asset.
Never became an asset.
Maybe for your kids, whoever you leave it to, it becomes an asset, but not to you. Okay. And as we're on this road to success, as we're on this path to financial independence, right? We have to constantly keep this in mind. Is this an asset or is this a liability? Is this purchase that I'm doing, is this purchase that I'm making an asset or a liability? And another key point is like with vehicles, cars, right? If you buy a car, most of the time it's gonna be a liability. Why? Because you're constantly kicking out for it. You're constantly putting gas in it. You're constantly paying insurance. You're constantly paying maintenance on it. All right?
Tires, oil changes.
Back to back. Right? So it's a liability. Okay? What we want to do in the League of Hustlers, as a hustler, from hustler to hustler, what we want you to do is focus on assets. Now, what if you take that same car, right? And you use it as a Lyft or use it for Uber. Now it changes, right?
Excellent point. Excellent example.
Now it changes.
And once again, because once again, you have something that was initially thought of as a liability, and you can turn this thing into an asset.
Boom.
Okay? So it's really about, the utilization, how you use things. It's how you're using these things. And you're going to need to be like innovative, a little creative. And a lot of the big companies, especially now, man, the companies that are taking off, this is how they are getting big. It's by being creative and coming up with ways to allow people to make money in these types of ways. The Ubers and the Lyfts and things like that. All of that stuff is like taking liabilities, essentially, people's vehicles, crowdsourcing basically, and allowing people to, use it as a money-making opportunity,
Boom.
Which is awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
And essentially, at its core, they're taking a problem and providing a solution for it. Cars are notoriously known for being huge liabilities.
Right. value drops soon as you drive away with that bad boy. That drive, you try to
soon
you buy a
drop
car,
the top, the value
leave
dropping too.
right. You leave the lot, make a U-turn, and come right back and sell it to them, and sell it back and see how much you get. You know,
Instantly.
you lose immediately.
Instantly.
You know, huge liability.
Right. Now, you know, the argument can be made though that like I need a car to get to work, and then I get to work, and now I'm able to make money. You know, the car is necessary, right, in order to make the money. But we don't want to look at it quite, you know, we don't want to play in that gray area. Let's keep an asset and a liability a liability. So what I do now, moving on to the third point, like with strategic implementation, right? Because all of this kind of flows together. You know, just look at every little purchase, right? Now, personally, again, every purchase that I make is probably 9 times out of 10 is it's a business expense, right? Why? Because I've integrated everything that I love to do into my business. So most of those purchases are assets, right? It's helping me make money some kind of way. All right. So in order to keep it clear, just make a point in your mind to say, hey, an asset causes cash to flow into my pocket. A liability causes cash to flow out of my pocket. What else do you have for strategic implementation?
Strategic implementation, man. One great point you just brought up, man, was about, you know, how your businesses, the things you're involved in, is like based around stuff that you love to do, stuff you enjoy doing.
Precisely.
You know what I mean? This is a key point. You know, when doing business or anything for that matter, it's important to be able to find yourself in an avenue where you can actually enjoy yourself. Because now what happens is you're spending money and putting it into an asset, but you also get benefit from it later, because this is also still going to continue to put money back in your pocket.
Right.
All right. So a great example of this is something we talked about earlier with like the exotic cars, right?
Right.
So we're talking about like, okay, you know, exotic cars. What car you like? You like this car, that car, you know? All right. So you like to drive Ferraris. This is a huge liability. Huge.
Tremendous.
All right. You're talking about $250,000 of a car. You know, you could basically purchase a home, but you went and bought a car where, you know, it's a liability.
Huge liability.
You know, a wreck or anything, you're done, man. That's just a lot of cash going out. However, if you take that same, you know, vehicle, and let's say you're driving it on your leisure time when you want to take it out, get around town how you like, you're driving what you want, you look good, you feel good, the car is nice, and when you're not driving it, you rent it out.
Boom.
$1,000 a day.
Bam.
$2,000 a day.
There you go.
Depend on what city you're in. You know what I mean? So, but now you found a way to do something that you love to do. You're getting something out of it, and you've turned it into an asset. It's going to pay for itself, and it's going to put money in your pocket.
Just like that.
Boom. There you go, man. That's
Liability
it.
to asset.
That's it. And this is what you have to do. When we talk about strategic implementation, we're talking about just that. Finding ways, all right, to transform your liabilities or things that could potentially be liabilities and turning them into assets. And even with your items that are already assets, you need to be continually like making sure that you can sustain them and make sure that they stay in that asset category, because quickly an asset can turn into a liability. So you got to do the maintenance too. All right. This is an ongoing thing. You're basically going to be a project manager over your assets. If you're not going to take on that role, you're probably going to need to hire somebody to make sure that it stays that way for you.
Yep.
But that's what the strategic implementation piece is all about, man.
Perfect, man.
Yeah.
And that leads us right to the challenge. Right to the challenge. Each and every episode. Gone are the days of just listening to podcasts. Here on the League of Hustlers, we like to give you actionable challenges that push you closer to your goals.
Yeah.
All right? Before we jump into the challenge, we want to just remind you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. All right? And if you find this beneficial, drop a comment and let us know. All right? On to the challenge. Now, for the challenge, all we want you to do is sit down and make 2 columns. All right, take a piece of paper, put a line down the middle. On one side, write assets, and on the other side, write liabilities. And just go through your inventory of the things that you own and decide, like, hey, is this an actual asset or is this a liability? And just list it out. Just go down and list it out. All right, so that you can begin to take account of your assets versus your liabilities. All right, a true account. And remember, an asset causes cash to flow into your pocket. A liability causes cash to flow out. This has been another episode of the League of Hustlers. We don't want to keep you long. We just wanted to drop you with those couple gems. All right, so we'll holler at you next time. CD, you have anything else for them?
You know what to do.
It's only one thing left to do.
Get it.
Yeah.